Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Please like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Leave that donation for that fried rice and chicken wings. Become a member to the channel and buy some of that Hood Champion merch. Hey, look, man, $7 million Wu-Tang Cream, cha-ching ching, gone down the drain for Daniel Dubois. Still some light at the end of the tunnel, because he gonna get Alexander Usyk next. Read between the lines, people. Let me share something with you, right? Now, Daniel Dubois has gone into hiding since pulling out of the Joseph Parker fight due to being ill. The thing is this. We're finding out now that Daniel Dubois, when he pulled out the Joseph Parker fight, he didn't receive 1 cent. No money to cover his training camp, which includes paying sparring partners. No money for anything. He didn't get any money for going to Saudi. He didn't get any money because he didn't fight the big Uso, Joseph Parker. Nothing. And he didn't get any of that $7 million payday that he was going to receive for fighting Joseph Parker. That's a huge loss. Some say, well, Daniel Dubois is a multimillionaire anyway. Yeah, he got dough, but $7 million. You go and train your heart out to get in the ring and fight the big Uso, Joseph Parker, in a huge payday, and you don't get it. That hurts. And we all know what happened, okay? But the thing is, after becoming ill, we know what happened. Martin Bakole comes into the ring under advice of the doctor for Dubois. Dubois couldn't fight. Bakole comes out there, flies from the jungle, lands out there in Saudi at 3 in the morning. A few hours later, he's in the ring with Parker. Put the bing-bings on him in the first round, hurt him really bad. Second round, touching him up a little bit. Parker hit him with a couple of shots. One in particular caught him on top of the head, threw his equilibrium off. Parker got the stoppage. But what's crazy is, after all of that, you kept hearing Usyk coming out here saying how he wants to fight Dubois. He wants to fight for an undisputed distinction. Okay? And I think he deserves that. To fight for an undisputed distinction and get a chance to become two-time undisputed. But with Daniel Dubois, the substantial amount of money that he lost from not getting in the ring, and also for his training camp, you got to think with Turki Al-Sheikh, he's going to probably want to make sure, one, that Usyk is happy. He gets an opportunity to become two-time undisputed. And he doesn't want for those belts to be further fragmented beyond Usyk having 3, Dubois having 1. So I think the fight's going to go forward. Now, you know that Daniel Dubois is in a unique position because the WBO, they came out here and kind of threw a wrench into things, where they said, look, you know, Usyk has to face the interim champion Parker. Now, we know the WBO and IBF, they do some funky stuff. But one thing about the WBO is you got to understand, they consider exceptions. Sorry to all the Samoans out there, the New Zealanders, right? I apologize. Pacific Islanders, I apologize. All y'all supporting Joseph Parker. Y'all ain't gonna like this. But when they come out here and say, we'll consider any exception submitted by Dubois or Parker's camps for the 4-belt shootout to come first. Up, that's it. Boom, nail in the coffin. The big Uso, Joseph Parker, is not fighting Usyk. Simple. He's going to get that step-aside money. And I know most of the cats on here who are Joseph Parker fans are like, Joseph won't take that money. He won't step aside for nobody. Bullshit. If he don't have a choice, he got to do it. But he ain't going to do it without being handsomely compensated. He's going to get some money. Now, what's crazy is they'll come out here and say, oh, there's no guarantee that we're going just to allow Dubois to fight Usyk for undisputed. So we don't want to lead anyone on to believe in that. Joseph Parker won't get his shot. But we're willing to consider any exception I'm gonna tell you what that means. When they come out and say, if an exception is lodged with the championship committee requesting that the unification be allowed to supersede the enforcement of the mandatory, the committee, per its discretion, may allow it to do so. Oh boy, let me tell you something, man. When you hear that kind of stuff, that just lets you know what's going to happen. Dubois is going to be fighting Usyk next. My thing is, we got to wait and see what happens, right? No decision's been made yet. But I just can't see it not being honored if it's petitioned. If Joseph Parker doesn't really have a leg to stand on. I don't want to accept step aside money. I don't want to look, man. Undisputed unifications take precedence over just somebody facing a mandatory. It doesn't always happen, but it should take precedence. Undisputed distinctions take precedence over unifications. And just, especially with mandatories. And when you have Turkey Usyk, if that's what he wants, that's what Usyk wants. The sanctioning bodies want their money. Joseph Parker will probably get paid a few million to step aside, and he can still go fight someone else. And Dubois goes on and he fights Usyk in the rematch. That's what Usyk wants. Dubois is in a better position than Joseph Parker because he's got the hardware, people. It doesn't matter if you feel Parker would have beat Dubois. They didn't fight. So the most important bargaining chip here is the bargaining chip that Daniel Dubois possesses. And it happens to be that damn strap, that IBF strap. Man, it's crazy how all this works. My thing is, okay, if that's what you want to do, cool. Have Dubois fight Usyk. Give Parker a little 3-4 million step aside money. These heavyweights, the undisputed bouts can be a lot of money on the table. Throw Parker 10 million step aside. He'll take that shit, 10 million to do nothing. And then give him a fight against somebody. But, don't throw him in with Caballero. Throw him in with I told you the other day, the heavyweight division is kind of scatterbrained at the moment, right? Because they're trying to figure out what to do with all these fighters. But Joseph Parker is going to have a big fight. I think he'll get paid some good step-aside money. And it could be against AJ. But sorry to all the Samoans out there, all the Joseph Parker supporters, your boy ain't getting Usyk. So I know y'all popping champagne and shit. Get over that. That shit ain't happening. So more to come on this Parker, Usyk, Dubois thing, AJ, and all the heavyweights, Caballero. Just sit back and let's see how the dust settles. But I'm telling you, in my opinion, the big Uso, I don't even want to say he's getting screwed anymore. I think the big Uso may be getting hooked up. Although he's not fighting for a title, if he gets paid like 5-10 million step aside money, shit, to do nothing, that's not a bad day in the office. But now if he gets paid that, but then they want him now to go fight Caballero, that's disastrous. I'm not saying Caballero beats him, but I'm not saying Caballero loses to him either. Caballero can fight. And it ain't what Parker wants. So what's going to be Joseph Parker's motivation? You know what I'm saying? Get in the ring with Caballero, someone there's no motivation there. He wants the title. And money-wise, he's a humble dude. You know what I mean? The guy has money. His family's all right. His mother, father's all right. He's always in Samoa, always there chilling. His grandparents are still around. He's a happy guy. He's all right. He doesn't need step-aside money. He don't care about that. He wants the title. So if they force a fight like Caballero on him or whoever they're going to force on him, I think he'll get up for AJ, the rematch. But anything outside of that, what's his motivation? So now Joseph Parker goes into something, Andy Lee's trying to get him motivated, but the psychology just isn't there with Parker because he's not fighting for what he wants. And now he gets in there and loses. So everything comes crumbling down. That would suck. But anyway, secret society in full effect. You know how that goes, man. Y'all keep cool. Let's see what the future holds for these combatants. But if you ask me to rub the hood champion crystal ball, what I think's coming next, I'll be honest with you, man. I think Dubois and Usyk is going to happen. And Parker's going to get some step-aside money. And they probably try to put an AJ or Caballero on him. Something wild like that. Anyway, y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.